Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we've got some problems brewing here. But I've done some time looking around off camera, and I think I found a path forward for us. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. It's a little bit fiddly, and we'll see if it works. In my testing, this appears to go well. But my current assumption is that this tooltip, this one right here, is wrong, and that there is still some undocumented throughput issues in some way, or like people are just not being properly employed or something. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe we just don't have enough people. That's hard to say. But what we need to do really is we need to get our radicals down and our legitimacy up. And the best way to do that is to bring the interest group that our king is from, the Junkers, into the government. That'll give us plus 50 legitimacy. We can't do that right now because they are in this revolution. However, I've noticed that they leave this revolution on the next month tick consistently. So that is actually pretty good for us. They don't have very much in terms of clout. Yeah, you can see here, they're just barely happy with us right now. So we can tick forward there, and that's probably why they leave the revolution. And we can also cut our taxation level down to about here. That will give us an additional 10 legitimacy. So we do that, and that's fine. So on this weak tick here, right there, they leave, and we get mass propaganda unlocked. That doesn't really do much for us. It doesn't get us up over 100, unfortunately. But we can get our macroeconomics researching. Cool. So right now, we can see that this revolution isn't going to fire. However, it eventually will, based on my testing. The radicalism will creep up over time, and this revolution will eventually go off unless we do something about it. And what do we want to do about it? Well, the first thing that we do is we reform our government. At this time, we need to reform this and kick out the trade unions and bring in the Junkers, like this. That brings us up to a contested government because the head of state's interest group is now in government. Now we can get more out of this if we bring in all of them, but we can't do that right now since there's a revolution going on. So let's go ahead and confirm that. And we have to kick out the trade unions or else we don't get here. So that brings us up to a contested government, meaning that we're no longer getting like 100,000 radicals per month, which is really nice. However, this on its own won't solve it. For the time being, we're not solved. We need to tick forward here for a while. This radicalism will begin to creep up over time. What is this? Echoes of Revolution? Intelligentsia would get plus 50 popularity. Sounds like a menace. We'll do minus 50 popularity there. So, that's fine. But we can see here, we now have a preserve monarchy. Movement, are these called? I'm not sure. It might be like a political movement. I'm not sure about the terminology, but there's now a preserved monarchy one here. And we can see that the enact censorship radicalism is creeping up. And our number of radicals are as well. But that's to be expected since we just kicked the trade unions out of the government. So that's fine. We will continue to tick on forward here. And... oh, that's different. Okay, so something just happened here that's different than what happened in every single one of my tests. The political movement to enact censorship just disbanded. That must be somewhat RNG. That never happened in any of my previous tests. That's actually a huge deal. Oh, because they switched over to preserve monarchy. Okay, that makes sense. That's actually really convenient for us because we actually can't enact censorship right now. This revolution we can now deal with if that becomes a problem. Okay, that's a really big deal, actually. That never happened in any of the previous testings. But we can see here, that now bumps up to critical radicalism, but that resets the timer. Cool. So we will go ahead and let that revolution tick forward. A trade agreement with Austria sounds decent. We do not want to let this revolution fire, for the record. And it will if left unchecked. However, we can preserve the monarchy by just canceling this. We want to wait as long as possible because they may recreate their enact censorship movement. And that would not be good for us under the current situation. If we go into our laws under free speech, we cannot enact censorship for another 3 months. So we want to time this as best as possible. But we will placate these guys. As soon as their revolution, how much are they gaining per month? Or rather per week? 8 per week? Okay. So noted. We're going to let this revolution build up for a little bit here. And also notice our GDP is beginning to creep upward now that we've got this sort of under control. Sort of. Like I said, this is a fiddly process. But I think we may have it here. Okay, establish the Philmarts was just concluded. Let's see here. An interest group approval for trade unions and rural folk? Or for intelligentsia and petit bourgeoisie. Petit bourgeoisie are these guys. So we'll get an approval with the petit bourgeoisie. We definitely need that right now. Okay, so our revolution is continuing to brew. This is going to go up to 48. That's cool. We're completely fine with this. On this next week, it should go up to 56. Correct. On the week after that, 64. And we're just chilling right now. We're letting this build up as long as possible. So the next one after that would be 72, and then 80, and then 88. Yeah, so 88 and then 96. Once it's 96, we have to cancel enacting the Presidential Republic. So we're just letting this have some time. And I'm checking in here. We have low market access in 3 locations. Input goods shortages. Oil is to be expected. Can we do an import route of oil? That was not what I wanted. That was aeroplanes. Yeah, we can import a little bit of oil, which I guess will help. Cool. We have some trade routes that need convoys, and we should probably cancel this unproductive trade route. But otherwise, yes, this seems to be sort of okay. Cool. So, one more week tick here, and now one more after this, and we cancel enacting the Presidential Republic. This is the way forward. Okay. We don't care about this diplomatic play. We declare neutrality, and we immediately cancel enacting the Presidential Republic right now. Yes, 78.8% of people are endorsing the change. But there we go. They're now placated, and this will begin to tick away. Cool. So, hopefully, let's see. Yeah, we see a huge drop in radicals, actually. Our GDP is beginning to recover. It's nowhere near back to where it was. But I think that might have bought us the time that we need, politically. The real question here is, how are we doing financially? And the answer is not tremendously. Our subsidies are actually quite expensive right now, and I'm wondering what the overall cost there is. We can hop in like over here and just take a look. Engines? Fair enough. We have a lot of motor industries that we created recently, but I'm not convinced that they are fully employed. Okay. Our GDP is starting to tank again. Why? Well, we can certainly look to do an import for engines. But I'm wondering what exactly is causing that. Our radicals have dropped. Our loyalists have risen sharply. Our GDP is continuing to tank. Presumably due to this market access, we should be finishing up these railways fairly soon. Okay, the revolution is gone. Fantastic. We're not running an input goods shortage of engines. Engines are merely expensive. They're not currently super rare in our market. So electricity is a little bit high. Where are engines here? That's automobiles. Engines should be pretty up here in terms of market price, but I had it sorted the wrong way. Okay, so we can see that there is an input goods shortage. We could try to import some engines from Austria and Britain and Sicily. And we'll do so. Hopefully that importing will drop our subsidy costs. Cool. And now what we're really looking to do is have these radicals drop off. Our GDP is starting to recover a bit here. It's just kind of hovering. And I'm still not sure what's causing our depression. To be clear, we no longer have the malice for 200k. That's gone now. But we have other problems. So we can't run any of these. I would love to run like a services consumption tax. That would be ideal. We could bump up our taxes slightly. But I don't want to lose the legitimacy because we are already at a legitimacy of... Oh, this dropped down to 36. Wait, what? Did the... How did the trade unions get back in? Did I not confirm this? Junkers get back in here. Okay, that'll make some sense. There's a strike going on here. Manufacturing industry's throughput. We will have to pass a law or expand an institution favorable to the trade unions. Okay. We can open negotiations with the strikers, and so we'll need to pass a budget or increase an institution. So the trade unions would like probably workplace safety. Changing to level 5. Minus 100% dangerous working conditions. That sounds decent. We also might want to increase our law enforcement's investment level to 5. Now, this is going to be a weekly cost of minus 4241. Is that from what we are right now? No, I think this is our current cost. Okay, so we can work that up. Cool. In theory, that should help. We've got the potential general strike going on here. The intelligentsia wants to enact total separation. I don't know that we want to do that necessarily. But we need to drop our radical numbers. That's for sure. And they won't creep back up now that we've sort of fixed our legitimacy. We want to get our legitimacy up into the legitimate government. That would be ideal, but we need to get these guys a bit more under control for the moment. We need to deal with the political problems in our nation. I think that's pretty clear at this point. Okay. So when are these institutions going to be establishing? Okay, it looks like it's going to go down the line. That does take a while. Noted. That's not only an increase of 1. Oh my, okay. So we may want to increase our health system as well. 4346, 4347. Yeah, that's super cheap. And increase our home affairs as well. Minus 15% political movement radicalism. We should have been doing this previously. I think that's pretty clear. So minus 4349. Cool. So we'll work our way up on that. Magnificent. So, labor negotiations. We promised to expand workplace safety within 10 years. We're already working on that. So done. That's absolutely fine. Cool. Now we do still have a very large negative deficit here. That's for sure. And our unrealized taxes are only part of it. We need our economy to come roaring back here. I still think that it's the radicals that are causing this. Let's see if it says in this tooltip. They contribute to political movement radicalism. Yes. Radicals are also created in pops that support political movements whose demands go unfulfilled, and when pops are fired from a building's workforce, particularly if they had ownership shares. Sure. So our GDP is starting to plummet again, and the reason for this, I think, is the strikes. Our construction has been paused, and we're currently in default. So the question now becomes, how long until some of these policies start to change? Well, the answer is workplace safety is going to be working up fairly soon. Ish. It's a slow process, but we're working on it. These guys want laissez-faire. Would that be useful for us? This would radicalize the trade unions, but it would give industrialists happiness. And it would radicalize the rural folk as well. There's not a lot of rural folk, but I don't think we need to radicalize the trade unions right now. Very low radicalism amongst the industrialists at the moment, so that seems okay. Hypothetically, looking at our legitimacy here, if we were to bring up our taxes, that would not increase us to a legitimate government. These guys aren't all that unhappy, and we should definitely work on that. The question is, what is suppressing our GDP? I don't think we've necessarily figured that out yet. Radicalism does not necessarily seem to be it now that it's throughput. So, if that's the case, then hypothetically, how much would we lose if we removed all of our existing violent suppression? Unfortunately, this doesn't update upon removal, so we will have to update it manually by, like, changing this. 466k. I feel like consumption taxes will be the better way to handle this budgetary issue. So we can put in a services tax. Let's see, that's 45k. Liquor is actually better. And then wine would be approximately the same as services. And then luxury goods, yes. No on transportation. Porcelain, yes. And then we can also run one. This is starting to get pretty inefficient at this point. So from here, then we can run violent suppressions on locations that are high GDP. Like, for example, Brandenburg. What other locations are high GDP? We can get another 6. So, looking at our GDPs here, 9%. So, I think we decided that Cologne was a pretty good one, or actually Westphalia. So, we run a violent suppression here, bringing us to minus 176. 3%, 4%, 2%, 2%. Basically, oh, yeah, Brandenburg is 22%. We already got that. Basically, if it's above 5% is what I'm looking for right now, I think. So 12% down over here in Silesia. We should definitely do violent suppression in Silesia. There we go. What else do we have? 4%, 5%. That seems, well, that's within our threshold. So in North German Saxony, Franconia, yeah. 3%, 0%. Okay, 6% over here. Cool. We'll put that in. 8%. Consider it done. And we can get one more. 0%, 2%, 0%, 4%. We already got that one at 5%. Okay. And out here is 4%. I guess we'll go with that. We have to get something, right? So that could be okay. So something along the lines of this. Putting us at almost positive, actually. Now, if we could drop our subsidies or our interest a little bit, we could start making money here. We've got some low market access that does absolutely need to be taken care of. So, subsidies. The current cost of engine, steel, and electricity, right? So what can we do about engine, steel, and electricity? Those are the costs that we're incurring here on our railways, which are currently on government run. Would we be better off to make them be publicly traded or privately owned? Perhaps. Perhaps. Engines is still the expensive thing here. So, we can't import any more engines. We can't make any more engines at this moment. So I'm just thinking here, let's go into our buildings, into our urban, and we are going to come down here. No, we need to be in our development. There we go. That would help. We come into our development, and we switch this over. Theoretically, no, we're still... Well, let's actually swap to publicly traded. Or even privately owned. Okay, that does bump us up into the positives, temporarily. Hopefully that will remain, and hopefully our GDP will start to tick back upward. How can we continue to solve this problem? That's a good question. We could switch basically all of these over to privately owned. I'm noting that while this substitution is increasing, and this will give us more workers, I'm noting that our monthly income is decreasing. But let's see what this ends up doing in the medium term here. Or I guess very short term. We may change these back. Okay, these are all fine. The power plants can go to be privately owned. Okay, and then we'll do this all over here as well, rather than having these be publicly traded. Okay, the fishing wharves can go to flash freezing. That's a thing that they can definitely do. Okay, let's see what ends up happening with that. Pops back into the positive, but then right back into negative as our GDP continues to decline. Okay, untrained hands. Children working in the paper mills have suffered injuries. Well, we could get child labor restrictions. Okay. Our GDP is just chilling right now. We're still #1 in the world, for the record. Even with all this nonsense. That's for sure. There's this peace treaty, and there's all of this going on, right? We definitely need to get out of debt. For that to really happen, our GDP has to start recovering. And I'm still not sure what's pushing it down. Yes, there's some market access issues right now, but that's not the overall issue. We know that for a fact. Let's see, what else can we do here? This trade route is unproductive. We can get rid of that. We could also, in theory, and this is probably not going to help in the long term, but we could, in theory, stop subsidizing railways. That's a possibility. We really don't have the oil to do that, but... or to bump up this production method. But that does put us very positive in our cash. But what I'm expecting is that this market access just starts plummeting. And that does indeed appear to be the case. That said, we're going to exit default here. Or nope, we're not. Because our GDP updates there, and yeah, it's just absolutely plummeting. Our market access is way, way too low. We have to subsidize this. There is no option. The railways have to be subsidized. Which is very sad. There is a revolution brewing here up to 73. Okay, so that's for total separation. I'm not too concerned about that right now. That's just the intelligentsia. And let's take a look at how our institutions are going. 32 weeks, 83 weeks. Okay, so we're currently still working our way towards level 2. And yeah, we are currently working on bringing back in... Oh, we need to declare neutrality here. There's nothing we can do here. We've got too many internal problems right now. So we are still working on bringing our GDP back up, hopefully. As we do this, we should see our market access come back up, in theory. As I thought, that does just wreck our market access, and there's nothing that we can do about that economically. South German secession. The South German population is trying to break away, caused by their turmoil. We're trying to do something about that. Radicals are ticking upward. Let's see here. We're still chilling here. Every opposition, or rather every group is unhappy with us right now. So we could try to enact a law that a lot of people like. And what would that be? Let's actually look through our laws here and see if we can find something that's popular. National supremacy. I mean, there is total separation. The intelligentsia would like that. But nobody else is really into it. So I'm thinking that we should probably... The industrialists and the Junkers would endorse that change, but that would radicalize the trade unions. Is there anything that's reasonably uncontroversial? Not really, I don't think. Slavery is, of course, banned, as it should be. We're running public health insurance and public schools right now. We can't change that. The rural folk would dislike this, but I don't know that we care. Industrialists and armed forces would be in favor of this. No one would really be opposed. That's a potential option. Yeah, the trade unions want to stay where we're at in terms of taxation. We can't move our trade policy law. We could go to laissez-faire, but the trade unions would dislike that. Unfortunately, our GDP is continuing to plummet, but that should start to recover now that we're re-subsidizing the railways. Okay, we have appointed bureaucrats right now. Freedom and conscience. Do we care about radicalizing the evangelicals? Not really, is the answer. I think we mostly just wait for our institutions at this point. Yeah. I think that's the idea here. These guys are going to be capped. The South Germans are going to look to secede. Württemberg, Baden, Bavaria, and Franconia. And can we do anything about that? I don't know. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see if we can get this economy back out of freefall. I literally don't know what's causing it, I guess. So I will spend some more time looking around for the next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.